Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 3 Monday Night Football and DraftKings Showdown has a fantastic contest with $2.5 million up for grabs. We've been doing really well here in the Smiz Gang on these showdown slates, these island games, and let's hope that we can keep that going here to cap off Week 3. If you're looking for the recap video, that is going to be on the second channel after our stream on Twitch tomorrow morning, somewhere around 1 p.m. Pacific time. Around there, it'll be on the second channel. So go look for the second channel, Al Smizzle Games, if you want the recap on how everything went in Week 3. If you're looking for Week 4 first look, that is going to be on the main channel around the same time that the recap goes live as well. Join me 5 days a week, 6 days a week if you count the Sunday show right before kickoff, but 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, live on Twitch, about noon Eastern time until 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to take a look at this game between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Looks like a fantastic game. Total here at about 51.5. Lots of fireworks, lots of defensive pieces missing. So how are we going to attack it? We're going to find out just in a second. So if you'd be so kind as to drop a like on the video. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you got to interact with it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below, and look in that description. If you click show more, you're going to see links to pretty much everything that you need. All my different socials. If you want to take part in the No Kid Hungry charity that we're trying to raise $25,000 by the end of this season, all of that is in there. So go take a look and let's break down this Monday night game.
He's a legend.
As is the norm on my showdown videos, we're going to take a look at the FantasyLabs lineup builder. If you wanted to go check out the great content, the great models, all the fantastic projections that they have over there by some of the best in the business, go click on the link down below in the pinned comment or in the description, smizzle.tv/!labs. You'll get a discounted offer for the all sports plan, especially with MLB still going, NHL coming up, NBA coming up. If you play daily fantasy golf, a great product that they have over there. If you're just interested in NFL, take a look at the NFL only product. Go give it a click and support the people that support this stream and this channel. Taking a look at the slate, obviously we have some of the great cast of characters that we would expect to see on this one. Dak Prescott up top. Jalen Hurts has been a lot of you guys owe a massive apology to Jalen Hurts as he has started off this season tremendously well. Through the offseason, all I was reading was Jalen Hurts is going to be a bust. Jalen Hurts is not going to produce. Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback. No. He's actually pretty darn good. And the thing that we were talking about was any quarterback who is going to run it 7 to 12 times a game, pretty much every game as a part of their path to success, is going to be somebody who is going to be fantastic for fantasy. Look, they lost to San Francisco. He did not throw for one touchdown, but he ran for one and for 82 yards. That's 14.2 points before my man even completes a pass. Still got you over 21 fantasy points in that game. And now he's facing off against the Dallas defense that's going to be without of it. 3 of its 4 top edge rushers are missing a bunch of players from their front 7. Yeah, they've still got a lot of talent there, obviously, and especially with Michael Parsons, other people that they have on that team. But like, this is a much friendlier front 7 than he faced against the San Francisco 49ers. So let's take a look over at like NFL Savant, because I really like the visuals that they have, right? So in terms of who gets the most targets through the first 2 weeks, Devonta Smith with 28% of the market share targets. A lot of other excuses narrative wise being made for Devonta Smith in the offseason. He's too skinny, not big enough, he can't do stuff. He's a good wide receiver, he's just a good football player. You know, kind of like Warwick Dunn was just a good football player. He's too small, you can't give him the ball. Marvin Harrison, too small, 175 pounds. Doesn't matter. Some guys can just play the game. And he is, through 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts' favorite target. Jalen Reagor coming in second. Dallas Goedert here. We might be without Zach Ertz. Monitor this 90 minutes before lock with the COVID testing and everything else that he has going on. Kenny Gainwell playing a good amount of snaps. And we take a look at the red zone. Dallas Goedert with 5 red zone targets so far, then Smith, then Gainwell, who has been a part of their inside the 10 package a lot. So typically we limit our quarterbacks because of how many quarterbacks have ever ended up winning showdown slates and being the MVP, being the captain spot. This is a spot where I'm probably going to expand that. Usually I cap them at like 7 or 8%, depending on the quarterbacks, because if a quarterback's going to have a big day, it's also likely that one of his wide receivers also had a big day, or one of his pass catchers also had a big day. So even if they're viable in the captain spot, it's also likely that somebody else might be viable too. And like 70% of the captain winners in Showdown have been a running back, a wide receiver, or a tight end of all time. So basically, the field is going to be overweight on quarterbacks at all times. So we want to be a little bit underweight, a little bit sharper, more in line with what wins. But this is a diet where I'm probably going to extend that. Instead of having like 15% total quarterback captains between the two teams, I might have like 20 to 30%, because these are two quarterbacks, because of what they add with their legs. They could be the guy, especially as many weapons as Dak Prescott has on that offense, between Pollard and Zeke and the receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, and the two tight ends who we'll get to in just a minute. There's a lot going on there. So if I'm going to play, as always, we've got to talk about how we're going to build the lineups. If I'm going to have Jalen Hurts in there, we're going to build two groups, or at least two rules in your lineup builder around him. Miles Sanders has been good. Has not been great, but he's looked good when he's out there on the field, being very efficient running the ball. But Gainwell has cut into his snaps. Now, Sanders is still the 60% guy, playing 60% of the snaps and getting 60% of the running back touches. But Gainwell's getting a good 35 to 40% of those, and Boston Scott has been completely cut out of the mix, getting 0. So Gainwell clearly has passed him on the charts. And from a one-game perspective, Gainwell being 5K and Sanders being 8K, I think that you're going to see a solid percent of people on Gainwell, considering how much usage he's gotten in long down and distance and 2-minute drill, and he's been on the field an awful lot inside the 20-yard line when their offense gets in deep. And because of the total in this game, and because how Dallas has been the fantasy carnival for the last season or so, anytime Dak is the quarterback, it's hard to think that the Eagles aren't going to be able to move the ball up and down the field pretty consistently. So I'm going to include all of my pass catchers in this one. We're going to have to monitor. I'm going to also include the kicker in this group. I'm probably not going to include Gainwell, not going to include Sanders. If they end up in a line, I'm not going to exclude them, but I'm going to make sure that I get at least two of these pass catchers. You're going to have to monitor Zach Ertz. He was removed from the COVID list on Saturday. Good. So he should be able to play. We'll see. Again, take a look at everything. I would include him in that group. Greg Ward, if you want to include him, Arcega Whiteside, whatever. Anybody that you think is going to catch a solid amount of targets. Quez Watkins has been electric, albeit not getting a ton of run, but again, for a one-game sample size, if he does lock on for a long touchdown, he's going to be somebody you're going to need to have in your lineups. And if Jalen Hurts has a good game, Quez Watkins can definitely contribute for, you know, that price. So we'll have to monitor what his position or what his percentage is going to be. We're going to build a bring back group from the other side, basically including every single offensive player that's viable, not the kicker more than likely, but Prescott, Lamb, Cooper, Elliott, everything else like that. Now, taking a look at the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's been outstanding. Okay, we know what he is. He's very good. He had a really bad second game, had a really great first game. The reality is going to be somewhere in between these two outcomes, right? Like, he's not going to throw or not going to have a 30-plus day, and he's not going to have very many days under 10 fantasy points. Now, their offensive coordinator, Moore, did a lot to try and get the ball in the hands of both Ezekiel Elliott against the Chargers, as well as Tony Pollard, right? Tony Pollard with 16 touches last week and looked really good doing it. If you know, Scott Baird had a great tweet looking back at all the different things, yards after contact, or yards after reception, efficiency metrics, all that stuff. And Pollard has been the better back than Ezekiel Elliott has, but I don't really care about who's better. I don't. And I know that somebody is going to get reckless in the replies down below. What do you mean you don't care about who's better? I care about who plays more. And right now, Ezekiel Elliott is outsnapping Pollard 70-30, even including last week's game, as electric as Pollard looked. Boogie, woogie, woogie. So he is still going to be the main guy. He is still going to get a ton of inside the 5 looks. I love that they've expanded Pollard this year, something that we saw coming through August. If you watched the preseason videos that we talked about, Pollard was one of our zero RB or hero RB type guys that we were targeting later in drafts. I have a ton of him in best ball for that reason, because we want to target those 40% guys. But right now he is the 30 to 40% guy. Build your teams accordingly, especially considering how close they are in price based on the fact that Pollard has done more with less snaps and is averaging more fantasy points per game than Zeke. This is a great spot for possibly a Zeke breakout, especially as the game log watchers are going to say, well, Pollard's going to take the job. Nothing right now has shown that Pollard is going to take this job. So building our Dak Prescott captain lineups, we're going to focus on who his pass catchers are. And we're going to look over again here at who has gotten the most targets. Amari Cooper with 24 of them. CeeDee Lamb, Gallup is out. Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin, they've been kind of a toss-up. Right now, they're a coin flip. They're basically same in terms of routes run per game for the last 2 games and snaps played for the last 2 games. And as you can see, targets for the last 2 games. So like if you have a lean one way or the other on Schultz versus Jarwin, that's up to you. Pollard is in there. Ced Wilson kind of disappointed in week 2 as he was kind of the chalk play that a lot of people, myself included, because of his price and expected snaps, was going to be the guy with Gallup out. So he disappointed people in week 2, but he still outsnapped Noah Brown. They just didn't throw the ball a ton. So if they're not throwing it 40 plus times, Ced Wilson's not going to get 4, 5, 6 targets. This is a game, like I said, with a total over 51 once again. And Wilson does have an opportunity to have like a bounce back week, the second roll the flop lag, whatever you want to call it. I am going to be including him in my Dak Prescott at captain groups. So looking at that, we're going to include Schultz in that group. We're going to include Ced Wilson in that group, as I just spoke about. Going to include Zerline, Greg the Leg. Going to include Jarwin in that group as well, because like I said, it's a coin flip and a toss-up between both of those guys. And if you wanted to, you could also get yourself a few shares of Noah Brown at 200. He only really has to catch like 2 balls to be viable in the flex and allows you to load up on a ton. But again, it's a very risky route. If he catches 2 balls, like you're dancing doing the airplane around the house, basically. So like it's going to take a lot. We're going to build that bring back group, just like we said as well. If we're going to use somebody like CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot, and I think that he would be an excellent captain on this slate outside of the quarterback captains, I'm going to make sure that 100% of my CeeDee Lamb at captain lineups have Dak Prescott in there. That also goes for Amari Cooper. That goes for any pass catcher on the Cowboys. Same thing to be said if you're going to have Devonta Smith. If you think that he is going to be catch 100 yards for 2 touchdowns and you want him at your captain spot, tying him to Jalen Hurts, if he has that sort of day, knowing that Jalen Hurts is probably going to run for 50 yards, and if he throws 2 touchdowns and 220, all of a sudden that's a really good day. It's somebody you're going to have with him. Same thing goes if you're going to have Jalen Reagor here, or Dallas Goedert here, or Zach Ertz, or whoever you might want to have as your captain. Tie the captain to it. Now, because of the high total, I'm a little bit more lenient on having 2 kickers and defenses, but I think that you're capping your upside if you do that. We've already seen a game where a lot of field goals were scored. When there's extra points, field goals being scored, as long as teams can move the ball across the 50, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. And 150-yard field goal from either guy gives them a big edge on the field, and your lineup's a big edge on the field. And both of these guys have that sort of length in their legs. The defenses, they're going to give up a lot of points, but the thing that you need to look at when it comes to defense is how much pressure can they put on the opposing offense. And I think both defensive have done a good job of that in the past, but both teams are going to be dropping back a ton. So like there is a possibility for defense in this spot, because pressure on the quarterback is what predicts future defensive scoring, right? It's not low scores. You want a quarterback that's going to drop back a lot, kind of like people that played the Chargers going up against Kansas City in week 3. Got a lot of turnovers, got some sacks, but risked giving up a lot of points against. I think they scored 24 points did the Chiefs this week. So like you can survive in the case of a lot of sacks and a lot of possible turnovers and or a pick 6. This is that spot. I'm probably going to limit to 1. I might expand to allow 2 kickers, but not 2 defenses, or a kicker and a defense in a lineup. We'll have to see. Taking a look over at FantasyLabs and their lineup builder. As I said, I'm going to kind of cap the quarterbacks. I might change that. I limit the amount of captains to basically only the guys who are the highest scorers or predicted to be the highest scorers on the slate. We come over here. I've got my template for showdowns. We're going to load that. Take a look at the rules that we've built into it. Just so we talked about, pair your captain quarterback with at least 2 of each of the pass catchers and the kicker. Pair your captain with quarterback with at least 1 of all the players on the opposing team. Pair your captain wide receiver with exactly 1 quarterback from the same team. Captain tight end, quarterback from the same team. Limit to 1 defense and kicker from the same game. Also, you're going to want to build a contrarian group, guys that are going to be less than 30% played, and make sure that at least one of them, pick 4 or 5 guys, and make sure that at least one of them is in every single group that you make. Apply those settings, head back to the lineup builder. You can build as many lineups as you want. If there's a mini max and you want to go after it, if you're playing 20 points, that's fine, or 20 max, that's fine. Or if you're just playing a single entry lineup, play the one that's going to give you the most opportunity of ceiling. It never hurts to like look at the way different lineups look and pick the one that you like the best. And FantasyLabs gives you the best opportunity to do that in a very quick manner, and you can jimmy with the players by giving them a flame emoji or a snowflake if you want more or less of them. You can cap their total play, as I said at captain. I've got they're not going to play more than 10% Prescott or Hurts. If I bump this up to like 50%, I might have 50% Jalen Hurts as a captain, because the quarterbacks do tend to project for a higher median and a higher ceiling than most players on the slate. I wish you guys the best of luck. Make sure you jump in the Discord, and I'll catch up to you guys later. Bye.
He's a legend.